对，谢谢。我还有另外两个档案在，另外两个档案，CC 嘛哈，第二个嘛哈，好，谢谢。所以就是从，
所以刚才这个是上次上的，
上次好。
我礼拜一没有来，因为我早上我爸，因为我礼拜一早上的时候我爸那个。
哦，好，
那你再跟他讲一下好不好？好，
我自己跟他讲。
像那个礼拜五早上。
好。OK。开始录了嘛哈。好。Yeah. So let's continue. Yeah. Previously we mentioned about this bilinear operation, bilinear interpolation. It's just you find some transformation for define a new gray label for your neighboring pixel value. Okay, so you can do some transformation. Now, actually, today we are going to introduce some fundamental algorithm. You are going to define the component in your image you are going to process. For example, we just mentioned the very popular software like OCR. You are going to do some digital library operation. So you have to recognize the characters from your book. And so how you do that? Okay, imagine how you transform this paper document into a digital content. And you can later on can search it through the word searching without looking at the image itself. So we are going to do that one. So of course we have to definitely we have to sampling the document, right? So we have to find how many dots per inch DPI you are going to do. Actually, for the document recognition, 300 DPI should be enough. 300 DPI, not so high resolution. You can do very good job on that sampling frequency. So digitize your separating your document. Then we actually to do OCR, optical character recognition. I think binarize image good enough, right? If you are not going to say this is right in written in red color, blue color, you just want to know the content, so you don't have to know what the color it is. So you just use binaries enough. So you transform it, separate its data in analog text document into separating every pixel value. So you are going to transform it to a binary gray label, not necessarily 256, right? Because you just want to say, is this pixel exist or not? What's the stroke in these characters? So we just have to use binarized image to recognize the word. So in your document will be only 0 and 1 only, right? Maybe you'll say higher than something and it become black color, lower than something it become dark, and you are going to recognize through like this kind of data, okay, binary data only in the image with 300 dpi. Every inch you have a 300 pixel. Okay, so now we are going to define this one. Because I think I'm not going to write, so I typed this morning. Yeah, there are some fundamental terminologies for you to know, so you can download from the iSchool. So first one is neighboring of a pixel. Neighboring of a pixel. So there are 3 different types of neighboring you are going to know. The first is 4 connected neighbor. Okay, 4 neighbor. So we are going to find what is 4 neighbor and what is n neighbor. What is diagonal neighbor? So as you know, we can write like this one. This is a P, and the 4 neighbor, which means this is the 4 neighbor of the P pixel. Okay, so we call this is the 4 neighbor and 8. What's the 8? So it should be very easy to imagine. So this is the pixel you are going to define. What's the neighbor of this P pixel? And you know should be like this one. right? They are edge neighbor of these pixels. So what's the diagonal? Yeah, you know that one. If P is this one, you are going to define the neighbor of this pixel. So it should be what? It should be diagonal, 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 diagonal. Yeah. Okay, so this is the first terminology you have to know. What's the neighbor of the pixel? So we know the neighboring is four neighbor, X neighbor, diagonal neighbor. Okay, now we are going to define what's the adjacency. Adjacency, which means we are going to extend it later, maybe for the gradable image, not only binary. For the binary, it's very easy. You have to define your set of gradable value. Okay, for the binary image, our value set will become 1, 5, because we are only have a 0 or 1 in intensity value. And we are going to look at the object. Only 1 represents the object. 0 become the background. So your intensity gradable value for the set, value set, we say for the binary, we always define 1. Okay, because there's a 1 or 0 in your image. It's a binary image. However, you can also do this one, your adjacency, to define it in your gradable image. For example, we say, okay, maybe gradable 20, 21, 22, they are similar gradable. So later on, we are going to define some adjacency. We have to look at your neighbor and look at its intensity value. Is this for binary? You don't check it is 1 or 0. But for the gradable, you have to check. They are defined in certain value set. Okay. For example, we can define this one. You can define maybe 128, 126, 127. They are supposed to be the same label group. Okay. And later on, once you have this value set first, and then we are going to define what's the full adjacency. What's the full adjacency? If Q is in the set of 4 neighbors, so it's very straightforward. Because you already know what is the neighbor, 4 neighbor. 4 neighbor, remember, this is the shape of 4 neighbor. So if they have the full adjacency for 2 pixels, P and Q, with the value from, they are, they are 2 pixels, P and Q, they are in this 4 neighboring. So they are adjacent to each other, because we have defined a V value for 1 for the binary image. So if your Q located in this one, so they are 4 adjacency. Okay. If Q is located here, they are not belong to the 4 adjacency. So first of all, you have to know what is the 4 neighbor, N neighbor, and diagonal neighbor. So let's see, 4 adjacency is the 2 pixels P and Q with the value from, they are connected to each other. Okay. For the, if Q is in the set of 4 neighbor of P pixel. Okay, Q is located in the 4 neighbor of the P pixel. So there are 4 adjacency. Similarly, for the edge adjacency, so if we're going to define P and Q is 4 edge adjacency. How you define it? This with a value. First, you have to know they have the same value. Okay, for the binary image, you must be defined 1 first. Okay, your neighboring Q pixel with the value 1. And then you are going to see Q is located within the neighboring of P pixel. And they are defined as A adjacency. Okay, so now we have a new terminology called M adjacency. M adjacency postulate. So it's more complicated. It's different from the 4 neighbor or edge neighbor. It's defined as this one. If they are M adjacency, Q must belong to the 4 neighbor of P pixel first. As long as it is not 4 neighbor, okay, they are already M adjacency. Or if Q is in diagonal of P, and Q is also in the diagonal of P, right? And the neighbor 4 of P and the neighbor 4 neighbor of Q, their intersection is empty set. They can become the M adjacency. So what's that? So let's see. P is here, Q is here. Okay. So definitely it's the end adjacency because I already specified this one. Q belongs to 4 neighbor of P, right? Now we are going to define N adjacency. Okay, that's a new terminology for you. Because later on we are going to find the connect component. So you have to know what type of connect component you are defined first. So later on we are going to define M connect component. So what's the M adjacency? You have to understand the definition first. So for the M adjacency, your neighboring M adjacency, you can satisfy both requirement, either one requirement. The first one is if only they are 4 neighboring, fine, there's an M adjacency. So it's very easy, like this one. Q is adjacent to P pixel because Q belongs to the 4 neighbor of the P pixel, right? So this one satisfied. How about the second one? Second one is try to define this one. If P is here, Q is here. Is this one is M adjacent to the P pixel? We will say, okay, Q located in the diagonal, okay, diagonal, right? Either one of these locations is a diagonal. If you locate it in the diagonal of the P pixel, and you have to satisfy another condition. Neighbor 4 of P pixel and neighbor Q of the 4 pixel should be what? Empty. So what are you going to describe this condition? Whatever.
接触不了。
What? Amazing. Amazing. Let's try again. I don't know why. Okay, so what is 4 neighbor in yeah. 4 neighbor and of P and 4 neighbor of Q. What's that? P neighbor, 4 neighbor should be this 4 point, right? Use different color to say it. Different color. So this is the 4 neighbor for P, right? Right? And how about for 4 neighbor of Q? Should be this 4 point, right? Okay. So we say 4 neighbor of P, 4 neighbor of Q, their intersection should be empty. What does that mean? It must be empty. They're located in the diagonal. So that's actually there's no overlap. Something no one there. Okay, no one located on this location. And there will be M adjacency. However, if there's one here, Q neighbor, 4 neighbor of Q, there's one here, P neighbor of that, there's one there, their intersection is not empty, which means they are not M adjacent. Okay? So only 2 conditions. Either one you satisfy. It's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So maybe we'll say this one. If 1, 1, 1 here. It's this one and this one. And adjacent. Yes or no? Looks like there's a lot of question face. Okay. So let's see any other good example for this one. Let's see. Do I do that one? I think I have prepared good example for you to understand. Yeah. So maybe I put one homework. there. Yeah, we have one homework for you, like this one. This is just the relationship between this point, this pixel, and this pixel. This pixel is n neighbor adjacent for sure, because they're located in the four neighboring. This one and this one also located in the four neighboring. So this one is this and this one is the n adjacent. How about this one and this one? We just mentioned they are not located. They are located in the diagonal, right? So to check this four neighbor and this four neighbor, is there an intersection? If there's an intersection, they are not going to become n neighbor. So this one and this pixel, they are not n adjacent. Why do I do that? Because we are going to do some physical tests. We are going to check boundary, everything, every application. You have to define first. If you use m adjacency, you are going to say this one to this one. They are going to go this way, this way. They cannot go directly. If you use some diagonal adjacency or for n adjacency, you can go straightforward. In this short case. But for n adjacency, you cannot go this way. You cannot go from here to here. You have to go here to here because they are n adjacency. And then go this vertical way. Okay? Is that clear? So that's the only difference between n adjacency and edge adjacency. Okay, for this example, this one and this one, they are edge adjacency, right? So if I'm going to say from P to Q, how many steps for edge adjacency? The answer is 1. You can go directly. But if I define n adjacency, you cannot go from here to here because we are not n adjacency. They didn't satisfy the criteria. They have to go this way for the n adjacency. So the answer will be different. Okay? So go back to check the condition for this definition, basic definition. n adjacency, you can satisfy either for four neighboring, very easy, or diagonal. But for the diagonal, the two pixels, their four neighbor have any intersection. For example, like this one, this is the m adjacency, right? Because from P, Q, they are in diagonal and their four neighbors, no intersection, empty. So they can go directly for the m adjacency, it's fine. However, if there occur some pixel here, then they not n adjacent. You can go this way. Okay, it's just a definition for some connect component defined. Okay, so two image subset S1, S2 are adjacent if some pixel in S1 is adjacent to some pixel in S2. So if you look at a bigger part of a component, you have to understand what the adjacency means, and the sub-image can be also defined. If they are adjacent and they have some pixel adjacent to each other, for example, like there's a sub-image 1 here, there's a sub-2 image here. If they are four adjacency, that's fine because there's a 1 and there's a 1 in the corner. They are four adjacent to each other. Okay, so which means sometimes if you are look at the connect component, we are going to define, say we are going to make sure the character we are going to define. First step, you are going to define the connect component, and this depends on your definition. Okay, so they are connect each other, adjacent to each other. Okay, so the digital case also there's another terminology from P pixel to Q pixel. It's a sequence. Okay, from 0, 0, x1, x1, x2, x2 to xi plus 1, yi plus 1. So it depends on your adjacency definition. So your pixel traveling from one position to the other position, you have to see how you define it at the beginning. Or neighboring, and condition. So you have to go by definition step by step, and then you know how many step digital path you are going to go, and the N will be the length of the path. Okay, from beginning to the end. So you have P to Q. Maybe go with another way to here. So how many steps here? We are going to say this is the digital path from one point to the other pixel. If this is a cross path, which means you go around their path will come back to here. Ending point will come back to itself. So if you run in the outside of the contour, and you will find out the beginning initial pixel will end up with the final pixel layer. So it's a cross path. So for path, A path, M path. Also, first of all, we have to know what is the connect component. So you know the adjacency now for 8 and M adjacency, right? It's very straightforward. 4 is the vertical and horizontal neighboring. At adjacency is the 8 surrounding 1 pixel. M adjacency we just mentioned that to satisfy either one of the condition. And for the gray label sensitivity similarity, you define the value set first. Okay, the value in the binary image will be 1. So you only consider your neighboring is 1 or 0. If this is 0, okay, forget it. If it's 1, you are going to consider if it is some for connectivity or N connectivity or N connectivity. It's all depends on previous definition for neighboring, N neighboring, and the diagonal neighboring. And the region of R is a subset of pixel in the image. It's all connect. So you can imagine now we are going to recognize this document, and you are going to stretch your whole and become a binary image there. Okay, it is an image, and you will see there's some 1 in this gray color, 0 will be a background, right? So in this sense, you are going to check where is the 1 in your neighbor, and you are going to make your connect component. Every connect later or connect, you will find out all the components in this image. English is much easier, okay, because English only has 26 uppercase characters, lowercase characters, and especially for the uppercase character, there's always single 1 component, right? Imagine that one on A, B, C, D to X, Y, Z. Every character uppercase has only 1 connected component itself. This is good quality document. For the lowercase characters, only I and Z have 2 separate components, right? I and Z. They have 2 separate connect components. Sorry. And yeah, this is one component, connect component. This is another one. This is another one. So printed document is very easy for English, but for Chinese it's much more difficult. Okay. Why? Because every Chinese character, if you know it, is combined a lot of different vertical parts, right? Okay. For example, my Chinese name here, this one. How many connect components? If you scan it, you will see. There's one. There's another one, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one. Wow, there are 5, 6 connect components for each character. This is simplified. Very simple Chinese character. You even got more complicated. So how you do that? How you do that? But first step always separate the document, Chinese document also. The second one, finalize. The third one, connect component. Define your connect component. Then the fourth step for the English is easy. Every character, because their aspect ratio, their pattern, their row, in the row, they are very easy to segment each connect component. For Chinese, also, we have to do the neighboring relation, we say. So it's some aspect ratio for each character. So you can imagine this character, the other character will be very similar here, and their size will be similar, okay, for the row, for the column. Yeah, so you just have to combine this small connect component first. So one more process to do that for Chinese character recognition. But anyway, it's still easy. Okay, so but first of all, you have to define what's the connect component for you to do that, and you have to assign. This one is neighboring connect component for one single character, Chinese character, but you have to do that. Sometimes it's difficult because you will be separate. Okay, you have to use some character space to do more further consideration. So we'll skip that application. Yeah, so let's define more. Boundary. Okay, the border contour of the region of R is a set of pixels in the region that have at least one or more neighbor are not in R. Okay, so that's easy. So let's say if you have some here, the neighboring. So yeah. So I should write more. So see. So for this 3 by 3 pixel here, or 3 by 3 inside of this one, the region of the border, they said at least one or more neighbor are not in R. First of all, you have to define all neighbor, n neighbor, and the adjacency. And in this one is not in R. So which means in this not 3 by 3, only one not satisfied because all neighbor is in R. And every other border pixel, they have at least one is not belong to R. That's it. Okay, so it's just some very quick definition for your contour. Okay, and now the most important is the connect component here. Connect component. So in one binary image, you are going to process first every object. So you have to understand what's a connected and disjoint. Connect, you already know, for connect, A connect, M connect. And then we just say we have to define any pixel in P in the S, and the set of pixel S in S that are connect to P, we call it a connect component of S. Actually, you have to define this first, choose which definition at the beginning. So the answer will be different. The answer will be different. So just define what is the connected component for this pixel, for this image. So we will give the first homework. You are going to find out all the connect components, independent connect components by different definition, and how many connect components in one image. Okay, we'll give you one image, and you are going to find this is the first connect component, this is the second one, and sometimes if you change the different definition, your number will be changed, and you have to label. Okay, the final answer you have to label. This is the first one, this is the second one. It's called labeling. Okay, so labeling of the connect component. So it goes two process. First is try to define what's the connect component, and then second one is to give label. So how do you do that? The algorithm here. Okay, so let's use four connect component as an example. Okay, so I will ask you, give you an image, binary image, and try to labeling all the connect component in one image. What do you do? And as a traditional way, we are going to do horizontal step pixel by pixel. Okay, from upper left to right down. So we are going to read from beginning every pixel. You are going to check, are they connect components? So how you do that one? So we give an example. If we are going to define four connected components, for adjacency, okay? For adjacency, the most easy one. You just define the neighboring in right-hand side, left-hand side, upper, down, 4 pixels only, right? So now we are going to evaluate this P pixel here. And we know, if you are going to look at this pixel for the 4 neighboring, 4 adjacency, 4 connect components, you only have to check what? Because you come from left-hand side to right, upper to down. So when you go through the screen pixel up to this pixel, you only have to check R and P location, right? Because 4 neighboring, 4 connect components. So you don't have to check this one. No, skip. You don't have to check this one. No. And next come to here, you only have to check R and P. You are not going to check because there's the next one. So you don't read it yet, right? When you read your sequence, go from here. After you read here, you are going to check this pixel only. So for the 4 connect component, if this is the one, you are going to check you are going to see, am I the neighboring pixel? If P is 0, skip, right? You don't do anything. Okay. So when P is 1, you are going to check because the binary image. And then the first case is R and T, your upper pixel, left hand pixel, all 0. So which means this is 1 and no four neighbor happen. So what does that mean? P pixel will be a new connect component you are going to consider. So the new label. If a label, if you already had a 3 label in the previous step, this will become 4. You are going to assign. P pixel will be the label 4. Do you follow me? So actually it's an algorithm. You should be very familiar. Okay, computer guy. So actually this morning I went to join the big forum with Microsoft vice president and Peter. Yeah, so they just use ChatGPT and say, how about the GPT-4 affect the medical society? My goodness, it's really really very powerful. Okay. Anyway, okay, you will learn. You face the true challenge. And they use English, okay, to discuss, to check each other. Immediately, all the Chinese translation occurred. So maybe we can find out someone through GPT. I pay some money, and then we'll see all my English talking and then translate to Chinese immediately. Okay, real time. Okay, so and you understand what I'm talking about if you are not familiar with English. I'm worried about that one. Yeah, so P is 1, and you find out R and T is 0 for the whole connect component, which means P will be the new label. I'm going to give a index, continuous index there, continuous labeling there. Okay, so the second condition will be R is 1, P is also 1. R is 1. Either one is already labeled in previous step. 1, T is 1. Either one is the 1, which means R and T already processed in previous step. They already labeled. They have their label number there. So follow it. If this is 1, this is 0, T will be the same label with R. If I is 0, T is 1, T will be the same label with T. Okay? Just follow, because your four neighbor and your upper neighbor is empty labeling. Left hand neighbor has some label, you follow your left. If your upper pixel has some label number, your left is empty, just follow your previous upper neighbor or neighbor. Okay, the same label. So either one. The third condition is both are 1. So, right? There's a four different conditions. This is both 1. Okay. Here's 1. Here's 1. Oh, okay. Some interruption. I is 1 must be defined by some label, right? T also 1 must be defined by some label. But these two labels may be different. May be different. It depends on this one. Oh, we don't know what happened. There's a label for R. There's a label for T. So there's only 2 conditions. The first condition, the label for R and label for T is the same. Because what? This one is also 1. So they will have the same label. Okay, anyway. But if they have the same label, easy. T also the same label is there. But the second condition is R and T are different label. It's also fine. You have to make one note first and say, for example, R is the label 3, T is label 5 in previous step, and we'll say 3 equal to 5. You have to make a note, and T assigned to 3 or 5 don't fine, because the second round you have to define the label. That's the only third condition it will happen. Okay, so 3 different conditions here. Also, all neighbor R and T 0, either one are 1. Both are 1. They have 3 different conditions, and you have to do 3 different process. Okay. So this is equal 0. Give a new label. 26. Okay. If either one is 1, assign the P label to R or T, where there's a label already. And both are one, check their label. Both are one, check their label. They are the same, P assigned to the same label. If they are different, P also assigned to either one of them, but you have to make a annotation. These two labels will be the same. And the second round, you are going to reset the label. 3 will equal to 5. So every 5 will change to 3. And the P will change to 3. If you previously assigned 5, it will change to 3 as well. But if you, so we are going to reassign a new label, new labeling process. And that's that point, everything will be defined under 4 connect component definition. Okay? So now you can think back when your document image finalized. And I'm going to please find all the connect component object in this image. Because what? Every connect component, I'm going to take a definition. It is an I or this is Z. So I need to know what's the connect component position object, and then try to do some image recognition. So the labeling operation, is that okay for the labeling? So our first homework will give you some binary image with a 0 and 1 data there, and we will request you are going to find their 4 neighboring components and the labeling. Maybe there are 5. And 8 neighboring components, maybe only 3 there. And n neighboring components, maybe the same image you will have 6 connect components, right? It's sometimes it's a different advantage for defined in different way, and even for the distance measure. Okay, so 8 connect. How about 8? I'm not going to do that again. So just as you know, if you are going to define it's an 8 connect component, what do you do? When we check the P again, check the P pixel here. P must be 1 first. If it's 0, go next pixel, right? P is 1. For the n neighboring, you have to check what? You have to check 4 pixels because it's 8 connect component. So previously, there are some pixel already checked in your before this P pixel. So we are going to check their pixel. It's much easier. If they are already assigned to the label, either one of them is there. Okay, so n labeling is quite straightforward, much easier. Okay. Okay, I think it's some coffee time, right? Okay, so now let's go next. The distance measurement. Sometimes I'm going to compare the object, compare the size, compare the distance to measure the distance between different object or different pixels. Okay, so we have 3 pixels here, PQZ in your image. And then you are going to measure the distance. There must be satisfied these 3 criteria. Okay, distance function. First of all, the distance between 2 pixels must be greater or equal to 0. When they are overlapped together, the distance will be 0. Okay, and the DPQ equal to DQP. Different, they are symmetric. You are calculate the distance from here to that point. Exactly the same from that point, calculate to this point. So the third one is that triangle inequality. Okay, DPQ distance and DQZ distance and DPZ distance must be less than these two. Okay, this triangle inequality. Okay, here plus distance must be larger than the third edge, right? Okay, so the distance function must be satisfied. These are 3 basic requirements. So as your memory, your training background, I think that most of the familiar distance measurement will be included, right? So tell me, the distance between the P and Q, P is XY, Q is the ST. So there's 2 pixels here, and Q is ST, location at ST. So in this image here, XY, ST. So what's the distance between this P and Q? So you just use an Euclidean definition. X minus x squared plus y minus t squared and take the square root, right? That's what you learn from the elementary school, right? Calculate two distance. But now we are going to find different distance. Also satisfy these three conditions. The first one is the city block. City block actually is a distance of four neighbors, D4. Okay, it's not a DE ingredient, DE. So city block distance is like this. So we are going to calculate the distance from P pixel to Q pixel is Q x minus x, x in x direction, the difference. Take the absolute value plus in y direction, y minus t. Take the absolute value, sum together. So what's that? Remember the four neighboring. You just look at the horizontal and vertical. So the city graph is just look at the vertical line and the vertical and horizontal distance, and then take the absolute value together. So why called the city graph? Can you imagine? So let's see. If I have a pixel here, so can you tell me where is the distance with one? One with this pixel here. What's the distance one? How many pixels here? Have a distance one with this pixel in the center. How many? Should be only 4 pixels, right? Your distance equal to 1. So, which means only this pixel have a, sorry. This is 1 here, right? Distance is 1 for the city block distance to this center point here. Here's 1 because the distance only in y direction. This 1. How about this one? What's the distance from here to here? How many? Right? How many? 2, right? So here's 2. So let's write. My next question. This is also 2. This is also 2. How about this one? What's the distance? 2, right? How about this one? Also 2, right? So the 2 will become like this. Now you see the city block there. So how about 3? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is the city block, the D4 distance. So you have different 4 neighboring, 4 connect component, 4 adjacency will be the same. Like this one, D4. How about D8? D8 is a 8 neighboring distance. So the definition is D8 is a maximum of horizontal distance absolute value or y minus t absolute value. Pick one of the maximum number there. So what's the distance? For this chessboard. Where is the 1? 1 distance between this one and this neighbor. So it should be here, right? The same. How about this one? What's the distance? Huh? Also 1, right? Maxima of horizontal or vertical. So it's also 1. Right? How about 2? Distance 2. 2, 2, 2, 2. This all 2 here. Because you are going to check the maximum number. Even here, maximum number. This is, for example, 2 different. Vertical 2 different. So here, the distance also equal to 2 for the chessboard and neighboring distance. See? So it should be 3. Right. So we can define different measurements like your definition is different. So when you read the paper, you are going to see how they do it. They will tell you, I'm going to use enabling to calculate, analyze all these documents. This image, you have to know what's the definition they use, and they will have different result. So yeah, here is like a distance of m adjacency to calculate. So we should be end here. Okay. So let's see. What's the distance from P to P4? If these 3 pixels are all values 1, so you are going to calculate, right? So if I ask you P to P4, how you measure the pace from P to P4? So you have to define what's the pace rate you are going to see. Now we are going to define m adjacent. So we are going to find out what the first condition is. We have to find out P1 and P3. What's the condition of these two? If both of them are 0, then this one to there, the distance will be 2 because there's no ambiguity on these 2 points, right? This is 0. This is also 0. So from here to here, the m, remember, the diagonal, and you are going to look at it, all numbers are empty. They are all empty now, so it's easy. Just directly go here. So the distance will be 2 steps. How about the test 2? If this is 1, this is 0. This is 1, this is 0. So for the m adjacency, you are not going to go this way anymore because they are not m adjacency anymore. They are all neighboring of this point, not empty. So you have to go this way, this way, this way. So the test will be 3. This is the second condition. Our third one, if this is both 1 here, for the m adjacency, we'll see this one and this one not m adjacency. So we go this way. This one and this one is not m adjacency as well. So we go this way, this way. So the case will be different. Okay. So will become 4. Distance will become 4. So today, our key issue is about 4 neighboring, n neighboring, 4 adjacency, and n diagonal neighboring, and 4 adjacency, n adjacency, m adjacency. And you are trying to find out your connect component. You define this first. Okay, for a grade level, also you can do that. You have to define a V set as well. For the binary, it's much easier. Okay, so especially for the process, for the document definition, for the first step to digitize your document, your book, everything, you have to use binary image. So binary is much easier to explain what's going on there. So, any question? I think our time is up. We are going to assign homework, but it's the first time we are going to give you longer time, maybe 2 weeks. Okay. That's fine. Then we will see because we have a more MATLAB, right? They know how to do that. Yeah. So maybe you'll assign in high school, and I will request TA to scan the problem for you. Okay. Yeah, because maybe you use a different version of the textbook. Okay, so let's end up here. If you have a question, come here.
点名单传到哪里了？
有吗？这
这么多页纸
啊？
要没得把用那个。
你要用心是你的事啊，那个是很简单的。
我说是要写一个程式出来编译过来还是？
不用，用 MATLAB 它都不用编译。
所以是要写一个程式出来，是就跑一个结果出来。
对，
跑个结果出来。
结果出来就可以消了。那很简单。这程式附上去一下就看出来了。
我礼拜有发。下次还要听啊。对啊，因为我礼拜一的时候就是早上那个要来学校。
老师，是你按暂停的吗？
对，我看，我已经按全上传了。
线是没问题，但是不知道为什么这边有时候就会接触不了。
啊，这样子啊？
对，
动到松到这样。今天下有看到谁道歉吗？
好，拜拜。
拜拜。
道全吗？
对。他今天要给那个资料。对。哦，是。
这个吗？今天是点进去之后会。
Doesn't matter. I got the class. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So I'm not going. Better will use this. If they are using that, maybe you need to keep an eye on that. Yeah, keep an eye on that. But so far, no, they're gone.
他说礼拜是要来找我去这个因素吗？不是，还是因为我们昨天才跟他谈另外一个计划，所以他会来啊。哦，然后呢？
就每天设定一个目标就好了。
因为礼拜明天报告，
明天就要报，
不需要。
那你打算报？
哦，我可以先报怎么，就是先处理图像，然后还有我昨天写那个把那个周边型的单成。应该先报这个。
可以啊，可以啊。然后上面的方式，然后可以啊。然后你知道怎么搞他们的？哦，就这样不用了。
啊，对，然后就拿上次来改。
对啊，还是你吗？他们那个负责医疗的会来找我们。我们开始播音乐，他们两个介绍都会。找那个正山啊。这个问题直接找正山。对。好，我先，拜拜。我的电脑是。好，拜拜。好，拜拜。你也电脑是。好，拜拜。
老师，你说那个作业要出到3周啊？是他们就没那个吗？
对，我这但是这个还没有上过嘛。
我已经上完。
知道，我刚才有看到档案。
对，然后我打算就是把第一次作业出了之后，我一起做怎么上怎么交这样。不然他们很多人都不用。
是啊，我说一定要交，不然的话交不出来。我还用吸血给你。没了。好，那你打算什么时候？什么时候？我看其实题目一样是 OK 的啦，就是要他们会，你拿去看一下。
是会给我一个
影像看。
是会给我那个题 幕吗？还是说
对，题目没有，这边就是这以前我都会出这个啊，因为可能它就这几题啊，对，14、18，我们上次做的啊，然后给它一个新的影像，我们会再去算那个 component 跟那个。
所以跟去年
对一样没关系啊。
那我就可以直接。
你可以看看，好，然后给一个新的影像，让他们重新。好，好不好？那影像你会设计吗？For neighboring and neighboring， 同一个影像算出来不一样，不要弄半天做都一样。
哦，好，那我
需要连在一起的，要想一下。
在想说，直接拿了一下
啊，
给他们画。
哦，那 binary 对。